Hello.
Got something on this week's parsha about Korach.
Let me hear.
Did you ever hear the expression Reich Korach?
Yes, many times.
Why do they say Reich Korach?
He
Haven't
was
there been?
rich. He owned a lot of stuff. He was very
He's
wealthy.
very wealthy, but throughout history, there hasn't been anybody richer than him.
Really?
I mean, it should be. There should have been people richer than him.
Yeah, but why him?
Why? Because when it says when he was, what usually happens when a man is living, they all have that. This man is so rich, he's worth $4 or $5 million. But when he dies and they divide everything up, they see he's not as rich as his reputation because he owes this on this, he has a mortgage and this. He's still very rich, but he's not as rich as reputation. So when Korach died, what does it say? He went everything opened up, and all his wealth went down with him. So there was no way that they could check it out to see what he really was worth. So therefore, he kept his wretched reputation all the time because he was a reputation as being the richest man, and no one could be disputed because they couldn't.
Right, because they all went.
He went down with him. They couldn't dispute what he had.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Therefore, my dad told me that. Therefore, they always use that terminology. Reich Korach. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ernie, where are you?
Yeah.
We're in La Costa.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
The medical or illegal?
Yeah, both medical, legal.
Oh.
Doctors and lawyers. Medical, legal.
Doctors and lawyers. Any golfers?
La Costa. It's famous.
Unfortunately, there used to be a golf tournament as part of this Friday morning, but there's lectures tomorrow. They've changed that.
Oh.
I played La Costa here before during that convention.
Yeah.
It's an very old course like Riviera and that era.
Was Ben Hogan there with you? It's an old course.
Okay, Ernie, I have your side for my late father, Shmuel Bereb Avram Gedalia. So if you can just
learn tonight's learning in memory of Rav Shmuel
Bereb Avram ben Avraham Gedalia.
Rav Shmuel ben Avram Gedalia, Feinblum.
Shabbat
Lamed Zion. We're going to start Lamed Vav Amid Beis, the last line. My prusbul. What's the language prusbul? Amrav Chizda, prus. Prus means a takana. Buli ubuti. What's buli ubuti? Buli refers elu ashiri. The wealthy people, the chsiv. V'shavarti es goon uschem. The Tani Rav Yosef, elu bulo shabuta, the rich people in Judea. Buti elu aniyim. So the prusbul is to provide, to make sure that the Ashirim still loan money to the Aniyim. Amalei Rava Oza. Rava asked someone who spoke Greek, my prusbul. Amalei Pursa de Milsa. It's correction of something that was fixed. Takana. That means it was already established. Beis Din takes care of everything that they deal with. So therefore, you can loan money to them because you'll get it paid back. Otherwise, no one would loan money to you. So
just only prusbul is in Greek. It's a Greek word.
Right, which means porsa de milsa.
Right, but it's a Greek word.
Like apotropis. Apotropis is a Greek word. Basically, the Beis Din takes care of the Yisom. And just like prusbul is enacted when we give over our loans, our shtaros to Beis Din, it automatically happens for the Yisomim. It's not awesome. Ein koisen prusbel ella ala karka. So loans are different type. There are some loans that are supported by land, which means I make a loan to someone. He has a piece of land that I know I can collect from if he doesn't have the cash. That's called nechasim sheish achrayus. I can even go after that land if he sold that land off to somebody else. So initially, this Mishnah says you could only write a prusbul if the borrower has land. Im ein lo. Now, what if the borrower does not have land? Mizakeu b'sach sadeu kol shehu. The lender grants to the borrower a little piece of land that he owns, so he has loan, so he has land, and therefore fulfills the criteria that you can write a prusbul. Kama kol shehu. What fulfills the small amount? Even the amount of land that is required to grow one-headed cabbage. Even if he was mazake in a place to put an oven, koisfin alav prusbul. Versus Zaini Vatani Ela al Otzitz Nokul Bilvad. If the guy has a flower pot with a hole in it, so it's connected to karka, Nokul in Nokul lo. Now, why should a flower pot without a hole not be sufficient? The place of the flower pot should be enough land to suffice. Lotzricha demonach asichi. We're talking about a case where they put the flower pot on sticks. It didn't even go on land at all. So in that case, you can give them any land. So let's see, it's Shena Nokov would not work. Ravashi Makdile Gidme de Dikla, because of a prusbul. He gave him a small hanging over of a palm tree, and he could write a prusbul based on that. Rabban Ravashi Masri Milayu Ladori. The Chachamim in the Yeshiva Ravashi they wouldn't even write a prusbul. They would just speak it out to each other. They would just speak to each other. And that would work. Rabbi Yochanan Mosar Mila Rabbi Chia Barab. Rabbi Yochanan just spoke it out to Rabbi Chia. Amarle, tzrich nemidi achrin. Do we have to do something else? Amarle lo tzrich. You don't need anything else. Talmidei Chachamim that lend to each other, that you could say Mosrani lachem shekol choiv sheyesh li shegvena kol shman she'eretz. So you don't have to write a prusbul.
How's that possible that you, in other words, the prusbul is it's a real document giving you a way out. It's like how do you not write it?
No, so Talmidei Chachamim shehilvu zed zeh.
All right.
Al ve'mosr devarim l'talmidim ve'omar Mosrani lachem shekol choiv sheyesh li shegvena kol choiv. He says over to the Talmidim, any debt I will collect on anytime. Ein tzarech prusbul kosu, and Shemitah will not wipe away the loan. That's what the Rambam says. The Ramah says Yeshayim the tour, and that works for other people too. That you can be moister these words even balpeh without writing it. Let's say a person has a co-signer, and the co-signer has land. That's good. Lo v'lo arev ein lein karka. The borrower, the co-signer, doesn't have land. V'lachayev lo yesh lo karka. But there's somebody else who owes the borrower money, and he has karka. You can write a prusbul. Rav Nos, that's based on Rav Nos, the Tanya. Rav Nos Minayin la noishu b'chavir man v'chavir b'chavero. Minayin shmotzim yizev nois l'zeh tamadom v'nos l'asher Hashem lo. A owes money to B, and B owes money to C. C can go to A directly; doesn't have to go to B. Same thing here. Since the borrower is owed money, the lender can go directly to that person, and therefore, if he has karka, it works to fulfill the crucible requirement of karka. It's not us. Ashvi mishamesas malve, bein bishtar, bein shelo bishtar. Shemitah will wipe away land, whether it's a loan documented in a shtar, whether it's a malval pet. Now, the Amiroim didn't understand what this Mishnah meant. Rav Shmuel Emer Tarvayu, bishtar, we're talking about shtar sheish b'achrayis nechasim. Shtar that documents a loan that's backed by land. When it says shelo bishtar, it means she'ein b'achrayis nechasim. It's a loan without land. And therefore, kol shekein milval peh. A loan she'ein b'achrayis at least has a shtar. Then there's a third type of loan, which is an oral commitment without a shtar. So that certainly gets wiped away by Shemitah. Rav Yechon Rav Shimon Lakish Damer Tarvai b'shtar means shtar shein b'achrayis nechasim, a contract without land. Shelo b'shtar milval peh. Shtar sheish b'achrayis nechasim eino mishamei. So Rav Yechon Rav Shimon ben Lakish says that a shtar with karka as a lien, Shemitah does not wipe that away. Tanya Kavas Rav Yechon Rav Shimon Lakish. Shtar chov mishamei. Just a shtar without land, Shemitah wipes it away. Then yesh b'achrayis nechasim, if there's land as the lien, eino mishamei. Shemitah doesn't wipe such a loan away. Tanya Yidichs, Siyim lo soda achas balvaso. A person who borrowed money says, here's this field. I'll pay this from this field back. If I don't have cash, eino mishamei. It's also, Shemitah doesn't wipe it away. Lo od, elafilu kosav kol nechosay achroin varvoin loch. Even if he says, all of my assets are committed to you, eino mishamei. The halacha in the Rambam is that Shemitah wipes away all loans, including shtar sheish b'achrayis. But if you designate a specific field, then it's not. Then Shemitah doesn't wipe it away. Kravid Ravasi Avaleyahu Shtara, a relative Ravasi had a shtar, which had land as a method of repayment. Also, Ravasi, Amarle, Mishami Doen Mishami. They asked Ravasi, does Shemitah wipe it away? Amarle, no Mishami. Shavke Vasila Kamed Rav Yechon. He went to Rav Yechon. Amarle, Mishami. Shemitah wipes it away. Also, Ravasi Kamed Rav Yechon, what do you mean? Amarle, Mishami Doen Mishami. Amarle, Mishami. Vamar Hu Amarle, Mishami. You, Rav Yechon, are the one that says that a shtar that has land, it's not, Shemitah doesn't wipe it away. Amarle, V'chim Mitnei. Just because I think that should be the halacha, does it work out that that's the halacha? But they bring up rights to say like you, that shtar with achrayis nechasim ain't b'shamei. But dil mahi be'shamai. Dami shtar lam l'gavis k'govik domi. That brisa might be the name of Bashamai, who held that if you have a shtar, it's as if considered it's collected already. But we necessarily don't hold like that. In fact, that's why the Rambam paskins, based on this maskana, that even a shtar sheyesh b'achrayis, Shemitah is mishamei. Tanan also. Hamav is chaver mosal amashkei. Reuven loans Shimon money, and Shimon gives him a mashko, piece of collateral. The Amoitzer Starvel based him. or he gives a starter basing like a prusbul. Ein mishamtin. Once you get a mashkon, Shemitah can't wipe that away. Now, I understand Bishlam and Moiser and Shtarl Vezdin, the Tafsel Beidina, that's a prusbul. Elamaval Mashkon Maitan. Why, if you got a mashkon already, it's considered Shemitah doesn't wipe it away. It's already as if he's gotten something back from the borrower. You loaned him money and you're living in his chotzer. The tofus, is that also considered as if you grabbed something? The Shemitah not wipe that away. Armalei, shiny mashkon, the konile. Mashkon is different because there's a kinyan made. In Rav Yitzchak, when a creditor takes a collateral, he owns it. Because when you give it back, the pillow that you took as a mashkon from the poor person that you loaned to, then you give it back to him at night, it's considered stuck. I don't get it. It ain't a coin that's stuck in minayin. Must be he owns it, and by giving it back, it's like stuck. Now, tomorrow, I can only teach it at 8 in the morning. Does that work for anybody? Because I'm going to be driving home late. We're driving home I think at 4 o'clock.
Works for me.
Works 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So hang in there because I'm coming. There's a Chabad that I went to tonight in Carmel Valley it's called Carmel Valley. Tonight is Gimel Tammuz, which is the yard site of the Rebbe. There must have been 50 Chabadskers there tonight.
Tonight is Dalet Tammuz, but it's okay.
Today was Gimel Tammuz. So there were ladies and women, men. You have no idea. I thought it was a Sheva Brachos. So their minion is 6:45.
But it's just around the corner from La Costa, that Chabad, no?
Yes, there's a Chabad of La Casa, but they don't have a daily minion. I have to go to Del Mar. There's Chabad of Del Mar, and they must have a whole community to see what's going on there. They live there. Anyways, so I should make it back to my room at 8, and I have a lecture at 8:30, so that'll work. How about this? The lender goes to the borrower and says, Shemitah, I don't collect from you because it's Shemitah. And the lender wants to pay the malva back anyways. So first, the lender has to say, Shemitah wipes it away. You know what? Even though it's Shemitah, I want to pay you back. The borrower is a smart guy. He wants to continue to have good credit with this guy, to have him loan him money in the future. So he wants to abrogate the law of Shemitah. He's allowed to. He can say, yeah, I know that Shemitah wipes away, but I want to pay you anyways. The lender's allowed to accept. Shenemar v'zed dvar Shemitah. As long as he says mishamet, he doesn't have to abandon the debt if the borrower wants to pay him back. Amar Rabba. Vitali le ad Amar hachi. Not only that, the lender can sort of look at him, give him a face that, you know what, I want to be paid back. Until he actually says, Afopiche. And that's okay. When this borrower wants to pay back, he shouldn't say, I'm paying back my debt. This is really mine. But I am gifting it to you. And you can make him a face until he says that as well. Abba bar Marta, duhu Abba bar Manyumi, have a masik be Rabbi Zuzi. Was trying to collect money from Rabba. Rabba owed him money. I sit on the Yele B'Shvius. He went to Rabba during Shemitah. Amarle Mishamit Abi. And the lender said, I'm wiping it away. Shakil Navazo. Rabba packed his money up and went home. He didn't say Afal Piche. He found the lender was sad. I asked him why you sad. Went to Rava and said, I'm to slay Zuzi Lamar. Did you pay back the money? Ian, I brought the money to pay back. What did he say to you? He said, I wiped away the loan. So so Abai asked Rabbi, did you tell him, even though you're wiping it away, I want to pay you anyways? Lo, I didn't say that. And if you would have said Afal Pichein, he would have taken it from you. Go back to him and tell him Afal Pichein. And he took the money. I didn't know that this is the sort of the dance that you have to go through. Look how lenient they are with this whole din. Say, I had a crucible, but I lost it. And therefore, I want to collect on my loan. My time. Even the Takin Rabbanim crucible, person's not going to leave something that is permitted and eat Isser. He certainly made a crucible. Someone needs to mute their thing.
Laza, can you mute
Yeah,
Laza?
okay, fine here. By the way, why don't we say it's like ribbus when he pays him back, even though he's not allowed to pay him back? Why don't we say it's ribbus? It's a form of ribbus. He says you don't have to pay. The Torah says you have to beshamit. And 1 second, let me just say. Could you close the TV out, please?
He's not ribbis. He's paying back. He's paying back what he owed.
No, but with his beshamit, and then he goes.
He's paying a chov. Just because it says mishameted doesn't mean that you can't pay a
Right, the
chov.
chov doesn't go away. It's not like the chov evaporates. The chov remains.
You can say he's giving him a present. What's wrong with
No,
that?
That's what he said.
No,
That's what the Gemara says he should
The
say.
Gemara says that's how crucible works. He gives him a
But you
present.
can't.
You can give anybody a present.
No, not if you give him. If I lend you money and you give me back the money, and you give me a present with it. You're not allowed to do it. That's ribbis.
No, not a present with it. He says to him, I'm giving you a present. What's wrong with that? I'm not talking about Machov. That's exactly how crucible works.
He also made the Rav. Did you have a crucible and you lost it? So you can say that to the person. You can coach him. Patach picha le'ile. Open up the mouth of a mute. Tnan, we learned the v'chein ba'al chov shemoitzi shtar chov, v'enimo pruzbul. If the creditor produces a shtar and says, pay me back, he doesn't have the pruzbul, hare elo yipor says, don't pay him back. So there's Tanoyi. There's machlokes on the Tanya. Moitzi shtar chov, tzarach she'emo pruzbul. The chachamim are enot tzarach. And we hold enot tzarach. He can claim that he lost it. I had it, but I lost it, and he's believed. Mishnah. Evet shenishba ufta'uhu. You have an Evet Kanani who got taken prisoner, and other Jews redeemed him. Im l'shum Eved, if they redeemed him as an Evet, not as a ben choirin, so Yishtabit, he goes back and works. If he was redeemed as a free man, he doesn't go back. He always goes back. Now, what are we talking about? Let's say the Bailim, the first Bailim who owned the Evet Knani, has not abandoned the hope of getting back the seven. If you're talking about Lifnei Yush, L'shum ben Chorin, Amai lo yishtabim. Other Jews redeemed this guy as a ben Chorin, but it's still his possession. How can you say he doesn't go back to work? Must be Lacher Yesh. We're talking about after the Bailim was Misyash. So then if L'shum Eved Amai yishtabim. So he's not owned by anybody anymore. Yeah, the owner abandoned him. If it's Lifnei Yehush, why should, if a Chayrim redeem him, why should he go back and work? It depends. Lishum Eved, if he was redeemed as an Eved, Yishtabi l'Rabbi Rishon, and Chanami goes back to the first owner who did not give up. But Lishum Ben Chorin, lo Yishtabi lo l'Rabbi Rishon, lo Rishon. He shouldn't be Mishtabi to anybody. The Rabbi Shelo, the Halishim Ben Chorim Parking, he was redeemed as a full-fledged Jew. The Rabbi Rishon Amilo Dilma Mimani Velo Parking. Because if people will not redeem avodim that were taken captive, if people will know that the one that they redeemed goes back to their first master. And Rabbi Shem Gamliel, because it's a mitzvah, people will still redeem people. It's not a negative incentive. That's the way a bayil is. That it's all after Yesh. Rav Amar Loilam Lacher Yesh. I can be mitaretz the Mishnah after the first owner gave up hope. L'shum Eved Yishtabi l'Rabbi Sheni, because if the people who redeemed him as an Eved, so he goes to work for the people who redeemed him. If he was redeemed l'Shum ben Chorin, lo Yishtabi lo l'Rabbi Rishon lo l'Rabbi Sheni. He doesn't work for anybody. Rabbi Sheni lo l'Shum ben Chorin Park. He was redeemed by them as a ben Chorin. The Rabbi Rishon Namilo Dalach Yehush, it's after Yehush. But Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Omer Benkach uBenkach Yishtabit, Kidechizkiah, Omer Chizkiah. Mibnei Ma Amru Benkach uBenkach Yishtabit. Why does it go back to work no matter what? Shloyeh Kolechot Vechot Hoylech Umapilatz Melagaisos. Eved Kananis would have just joined the Roman legions marching through. Umavkiyatz Yad Rabbo, that way, an easy way to get out of Avdus. So we have this din that they go back to the first master. Meisvei. It's a mitzvah. Abai explained the whole thing is before Yehush Hainu the Kamar Kashem. El Rav Adamar La'achar Yehush Hay Kashem. It's not Kashem. It's the Chizkiyahu. No Charav Rav Shimon Gamliel Lo Aviyadam Hay Kamar Bana. Rav Shimon Gamliel didn't understand what the Rabbanon want. If you're saying you didn't that there's no negative incentive because it's a mitzvah to redeem a ben chorin and a evet. Ila acher yesh kamis kidechizki l'rava. Yomer la'acher yehush l'rabba sheni. Now the Gemara doesn't understand. What do you mean Rabba Sheni? Miman konile. The Rabba Sheni is the person who redeemed this evet. Who was he coined from? Mishaboy, from these goyim who took this evet prisoner. Shaboy gufe mikonile. Goyim don't have a kinyan. Gemara says no. In konile ma'asiyot, they have a kinyan in the work he's producing. Damrish lakish. Minayin lagoy shekones lagoy la'ma'asiyot. One goy can acquire another goy at least with what he produces. Shenamar v'gam ibnei atoshavim agrei machem mehem tiknu. Atem koinim mehem v'lo hem koinim mikem. V'lo hem koinim zeh mizeh. We'll go through this tomorrow.
Very shkoyach.
Okay, tomorrow.
Sure.
Bye.
Sure.
8 a.m.